Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. It's your big brother Fahim back again with another bell for the family. Just a quick thought of the day, my little rant for the day. Man, just talking about this Fat Joe situation. This shit done took on a whole nother life of its own. Wow. I know Joey Crack went back home that night and probably was like, yo, I wowed out. Yo. I know he had to go back home and say that. Like, yo, I just dumbed out. Oh my God. What have I done? You know, I was listening to one podcast and I remember the brother said something to the extent of, he should have had someone to kind of brief him. And I wholeheartedly concur with that. Fat Joe should have had somebody to at least brief him to be like, yo, okay, foundational Black Americans is not some little, offshoot branch group, secular group somewhere. No, it's an actual lineage of people. And, like, you from New York, yeah, I'm from New York. New York people, we kind of could understand Puerto Ricans using the N-word and Hispanic people because that's just the culture of New York. If you grew up around black people, and whether it was Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island, Long Island, wherever you was at in the city, or even upstate New York, certain Puerto Ricans or Cubans or, they got a pass with that because they was around, they practically grew up around you. And when they use the word, it's not like in a disrespectful, it's like, yo, that's my nigga right there. Yo, hell yeah, yo, my nigga's right there. Yo, my big, yo. To us New Yorkers is, and then not only that, someone should have informed Fat Joe that the highest concentration of black people, black Americans, foundational black Americans, is in the South, brother. It's in the South. It ain't in the North. It's in the South. In the North, you got a lot of what they would call tethers. It's a word. I guess got the definition of that. I guess I would be a tether because, like anybody with any type of, I guess, African or West Indian in their background, that's all within itself. But somebody should at least told Fat Joe, like, scooped him to what was going on. Like, yo, this is a lineage of people. And the strongest part of that lineage is in the South. So there's a lot of black people, foundational black Americans. They don't have no West Indian. They don't have no African or whatever. And if they did, it's hundreds of years ago during the slave trade or whatever. But for the last 200-300 years, they've been right down here in the plantations in the South. You know what I mean? Like my mom's, take for instance, right down here in Augusta, Georgia, Burke County, Waynesboro, Georgia, all them little towns, Midville, Georgia, Sardis, Gulf, Rennes, you know what I'm saying? Swainsboro, like all them little, Louisville, them little towns down there. Those are foundational black Americans, Fat Joe. They not going to go for what you saying in the N-word and all that. They not going to go for that. They not going to go for that. So you got to be careful with how you know what I mean? And then you calling them broke. And it's like, come on, man. You wilding right now. People getting upset with math and them, and I kind of look at it like, at the end of the day, I love math. He from BK, from Brooklyn. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? But math don't got knowledge of self. He don't have the intellect, and that's no disrespect to math, but he don't have the intellect to push back on certain political topics and challenge him on certain things. So, the other brother, I can't remember his name, or it's some other brothers that be in the shop with them that I listen to them speak, and you can hear more awareness of what's going on in politics or in government or just, in the world, period. You can kind of, you know what I'm saying? I was more so looking for them to come out and say, wait, hold on. Okay, when you say they are racist black Americans, what do what does that mean? Like, come on. And you don't have to disagree with them or agree with them, but it's the questioning. You should have pushed back on that to question that, like, yo, hold on. What do you mean? Because a lot of people don't see Tariq Nasheed or Lord Jamar as radical black racists. Like, when someone is a radical racist, that means that they will go out and do physical harm to any other group of people. This is a debate about who created rap music, who created hip hop. Come on, man. It should have went no further than you bring out your slides and so we could go and we could have rent out a place in Harlem in New York or wherever. Tariq Nasheed could have been there. Lord Jamar, they on one table or they on one side of the stage. Y'all on the other side of the stage. The Puerto Rican KRS-One, Fat Joe, who else? Pete Rock, Buster, whoever, is gonna stand up for their argument, and we could have debated this thing out scholarly, intelligently. Come on, man. Like, it just took a turn and went somewhere else. I heard Crazy Legs and Lord Jamar was talking about boxing it out. Like, yo, what the hell are we doing? What the hell is going on, man? Yo, this is wild. This is only the information that we're going after. That's it. That's all we supposed to be doing, people. What is going on with the ignorance? The ignorant shit is just off the meat rack right now. I don't understand it. A simple debate. That's it. The debate would have shown and proved that hip-hop did not only start in the Bronx, New York, but it was New York as a whole, New York City as a whole. People were doing block jams and block parties and disco jams. Back then, they used to call them disco DJs. Grandmaster Flowers and I can't even name everybody. Tariq Nasheed did the research and has all of the information, whether he's from New York or not. He's a beautiful researcher and journalist. He can, give us a beautiful documentary on the history of it, the true history. Come on, I'm in my 50s, my early 50s, and I'm embarrassed. And I'm from New York. But I'm embarrassed to say a lot of this stuff I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it. I grew up hearing, a lot of the misinformation. Hip-hop started at Cedric Avenue in the Bronx. At this location was the first hip-hop jam, and Kool Herc and Africa Bambaataa is the founders and just everything, you know what I'm saying? Even down to the Jamaicans, saying that they came up with, they taught us how to dress and do hip hop. I remember hearing that as a youth growing up in Flatbush. You know what I'm saying? I used to, we teach the Yankee boy them to do hip hop. We teach the Yankee boy them for dress. I grew up and I believe that. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? But come to find out, we're at the brink of truth right now. Truth is knocking on the door like, yo, let me in. You know what I'm saying? It's up to us to open the door and let it come in. Fat Joe could have sat down as a scholarly individual. Fat Joe, I guess, had knowledge of self at one point in his life with the Guards, the 5%ers, And he also has knowledge with the Kings, with the Latin Kings. 5%ers and Latin Kings, those aren't two ignorant organizations, or at least they aren't supposed to be. Latin Kings and 5%ers both stand on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. So if that be the case, this should have been done in a way more intelligent manner being that Latin Kings, 5%ers, and Zulu are the three founders. That's the culture in New York. Before all this Crip and Blood stuff, that's all new to me. I'm in my early 50s, so that's new to me. I don't know about Crip and Blood and all of this stuff in New York. That just came about in the last, 10, 15 years. It's history in California. It go way back to the late 50s, early 60s. Well, likewise, in New York, on the East Coast, God Body, 5%er, Zulu Nation, and Latin Kings is history. That's our foundation. That's our history in New York from the late 50s going into the early 60s. That's our foundation. So we got to learn to start standing on what's truth and leave out the false teachings. We got to do that, man. We got to do that. And again, this shouldn't have went no further than a simple debate, a simple dialogue between two brothers, two foundational members in hip hop, Lord Jamal and Fat Joe. Not who's Ella, oh, you was the wackest in Brand Nubian, oh, you was the wackest in TS, or Terror Squad, you was the wackest, or, I mean, come on, man, stop with the personal. Let's deal with the history. Who are the founders? Who are the creators? And who were the first students? Let's put all of that into perspective. Where do Jamaicans and where do, all these other groups play a part? Like, let's get everything sorted out. Come on. Simple. So that's all I would want my black people to do, man. My black and brown people, man. Come on, man. We too good for this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to just end it on this. My brother, Lord Jamal, you got to talk with the 5%ers. We need to talk to you after this is all said and done. I know you got your hands full right now with Fat Joe and KRS-One and the brothers and whatnot dealing with this topic. So, we're going to push it all to the side of the table right now, but we're not pushing it off the table. We're going to have to talk about this flat earth thing and what you've been going around propagating, calling yourself a 5%er when you're really not a 5%er. Once you disregard the actual facts, the solar facts, the student enrollment, you disregard all of our, the earth, the sun is not 93 million miles away. Oh, the earth don't spin at 1,037 and a third mile. Oh, once you come, you rejecting all of our teachings. So how are you still a 5%er, Lord Jamal? I'm going to hold that thought, because I know you got other stuff going on right now, but when all your stuff is all said and done, we need to come back to the table and bring this up, because you're not going to get away from that, Lord Jamal. You got a lot of the 5%ers, in their feelings a little bit about that. That you just coming out with this teaching and not making knowledge born with us. At least like, hey, maybe we wrong. Maybe our lessons is wrong. Elijah Muhammad, maybe he was wrong. Maybe Master Fard Muhammad was wrong. Maybe you're right. But we can't say that because you ain't even come out and sit down and build with nobody yet. You just running and hiding, saying the earth is flat, running, hiding. So I'll just leave that right there for now. We will talk about that later because I will be bringing it up again. Mashallah. So with that being said, family, I leave you as I came in the greeting words of peace. Let's keep the peace and not resort to ignorance and violence over a simple discussion that's going to teach the youth history for the ages to come. Let's deal with the peace. So I leave my brothers as I came in the greeting words of Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. Peace.